take you down the garden path. I think it's a good way to put it. I never say to anybody living a life of abundance and prosperity is easy. It's not easy. It's easy once you know how, which is what the saying goes, but actually starting to learn how the mind works in conjunction with our attitude, in conjunction with the universal laws that are governing this world, that part takes a bit of study, a bit of work, a bit of focused time. But within a very short amount of time, you can change your entire world by your thinking and completely eradicate your thoughts and your ideals of what you believe life is all about. And Napoleon Hill wrote a great book, which is called Think and Grow Rich. And he says that no mere amount of wishing or hoping will bring us success, but it's through belief. And one of the big topics that you guys threw out to us during the week was that self-belief is a big thing. And I truly believe it is. In fact, as I sat and thought about what I wanted my goal to be with this 5-day series, it was simply, I want people to start having faith in themselves. I want people to start realizing that they are in control and that it's not life and outside circumstances and conditions. And maybe you've been feeling that over the last couple of weeks. Maybe you've been feeling like everything is just going from in your fingers. So you're just losing grip of control. I hope that's not the case, but I would probably say a lot of you are feeling that. And I don't shy away from those things. I think it's important that we show up and we actually start to think, right, this is happening whether we like it or not. But am I going to choose to see a crisis, or am I going to choose to see an opportunity? Am I going to choose to just look at what's not going right, or am I going to choose to actually create my thoughts and dictate what comes into my life? Because we are always attracting our life through our thinking. That is the premise of this book. We attract everything into our reality. We think in secret and it comes to pass. Our environment is but a looking glass. That's a great quote by James Allen. Such a powerful little book, As a Man Thinketh. We think in secret and it comes to pass. Our environment is but a looking glass. So think about that as we start. What is your environment telling you right now? What are your results telling you right now? What does your finances look like? What does your health look like? What does your relationships look like? Really important questions. Now, don't just sit there and just go, yeah, not great. Like literally have your pen and paper and go, what is my finances like? Like write down. Like that's one big thing I've found a lot of people don't know. They don't know what they earn. Now, if I ever ask you what you earn and you don't know, there is the first big problem. Because you can't say you don't have enough when you don't even know what you have. Now, a lot of us are saying, I don't have enough. And what you're going to learn even just from today's session is whatever you think, whatever you give energy to, whatever you speak is what you're also bringing to you. That is by the law of cause and effect. So when we say, I just want enough, or I don't have enough, you're never going to attract abundance and prosperity. It's just not going to happen. What we've got to start saying is, I am open to the abundance. Abundance flows to me each and every day. More and more abundance in health, wealth, and happiness flows to me because I'm open to receiving. I'm expectant of greatness. No, reality is none of us walk around saying that, but we should. And sometimes when I say these things, you should go around talking to yourself like that. People go, oh, Kim knows positive affirmations. Yeah. And I used to do that, guys. That's why I'm saying it. I used to think, what a load of rubbish. Positive, yay. And I was a mental health nurse with a really bad attitude. So, I mean, I'm only giving you experience. I don't hide anything. I am no different to any single person on this call. I'm absolutely the same as you. My results might be very different, but me as a human being is completely the same to you. I was born rich. You were born rich. But yet for 30 odd years of my life, I was born rich but had no money. And you might feel the same. So we've got to start to understand, if I'm born rich, where is the evidence of this? Okay. So we've got to really start to ask ourselves, what are my results telling me? Okay. So that's what we're going to look over. Day 2, just to give you a bit of an insight, tomorrow, we're going to be looking at the image maker. So I would advise looking at that particular chapter in the book, the image maker. Day 3, we're going to talk all about money. Okay. Prosperity consciousness is day 3. So that's Wednesday. Thursday, we're going to talk one of my favorite topics of all time. So much so that I keep a little stone on my desk that says faith. So Thursday, we're going to be talking about faith over fear. Walk by faith, not by sight. And day 5, we're going to look at the risk takers. So that's going to be our agenda over the next 5 days. Now, as I said at the very start of the call, it's all about awareness. So I'm going to just be super simple with you guys as we go through this. You've got to ask yourself, what does awareness mean to you? What does awareness mean? Like I mean, if somebody had said that word to me 4 years ago, I wouldn't have had a clue. I wouldn't have been aware of what awareness was. And I'm just being totally honest. Maybe you're a lot more consciously aware than me, but I was clueless. But I still made this material work for me, which is why I'm so passionate about helping people. Because if I can do it, anybody can do this stuff. I am dyslexic. I still can't count very well, but yet I've got incredible success, credible results relative to me. You may not want what I have, and that's okay. It's not about that. But it's about the fact that I started to look at my current results, which were not great, were not pleasing me, were also not in balance with the amount of hours I was working, the amount of effort put in education. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys have paid a lot of money for education. You got to ask yourself, are you earning that? Have you even paid those bills back? So this awareness is the key. So you've got to ask yourself, what on earth does awareness mean? And simply, conscious awareness is you know what you know and you don't know what you don't know. Okay, that's the easiest way to think about it. And right now, you've got to ask yourself, do you know how to multiply your results? Do you know how to take charge of your mind instead of the mind taking charge of you? Like right now in this current economic climate that we're in, which by the way, guys, money hasn't disappeared off the face of the earth. It hasn't just went poof into thin air or ether. There's still the same amount of money that there ever was. It's just circulating differently. And this is why it's so paramount that you understand prosperity consciousness, because you can learn how to magnetize your mind so that when the money is circulating and it's going in different places, that you get a wee bit of that you can become a mental magnet to attracting that which you desire. That's what this is about. And you can never take more than you deserve. You can, when you are able to attract money, it does not mean that somebody else doesn't get money. There's so many different beliefs. And I'm not going to diverse because that's tomorrow's section. But my goodness, tomorrow's going to be a big day about money. But awareness is the key. Now, Bob Proctor constantly mentions throughout this book that ignorance is the only problem that we have. Now, again, do you understand what the word ignorance means? I'm going to go through this very, very simple. Like, what do all these words mean and how do they work together? So ignorance, when I am ignorant to something, it means I don't understand it. So if you were to put me in a plane or a boat or really anything other than a car and say, Kim, go and fly that plane. I mean, you wouldn't want to be in the plane because I wouldn't have a foggy notion how to fly the plane. I would be ignorant to how you fly a plane. Now, that doesn't mean that it's impossible for me to fly a plane. It just means that I have no current awareness of how to do it. But if I did want to learn, then I would go and get a pilot or somebody to coach me. So I would raise my awareness of how the operations of a plane operate, and then I would be confident in doing it. Now, I want you to just use that simple analogy for when it comes to mindset, because the only thing that's blocking you right now is you're just not aware of how to achieve the things that you want. You mightn't even be aware of what you want to achieve. We have seen, as we've worked with people all over the world, that one of the biggest problems from the outset is we're not aware of what we even want. We don't maybe have goals. We don't know what we want, and that in lies the first problem. And what I want to get across to you over this week is I want you to know who you are. I want you to know where you are. I want you to know where you want to be, and I want you to know how to get there. Now, I'm not going to say that this week, lunchtime every day, this next 5 days, your life's going to be peachy and it's done and it's dusted. It's not. This is me just starting to pry open your mind to thinking outside of what you normally think. Because actually, what we learn, and you read in this book, is that most of us do not think. We have mental workings going on, but most of us are living out of autopilot. Most of us are just getting up every day and doing the same thing over and over again because we're not really sure what else to do. And we're too frightened to even take the foot off the accelerator in case it all stops. And then we end up just kind of go. And we're not really sure what we're going for because it's not really coming out in any good, tangible results. Can you relate to that? So we're only limited by two things in this life: lack of attention and poverty of imagination. That's the only two things that is holding you back in life right now. Your lack of attention on what you want and poverty of imagination. So think about this. You think about your specific situation. Do you know what your goal is? Okay. If you don't, then you're falling into that category of poverty of imagination. You haven't actually started to think about what you want. And if you haven't started to think about what you want, then I know you're not giving it any attention. So and even if you're sitting here in this call, I know a lot of my clients are, even you and where you're at with your goal, the only thing that's keeping you apart is lack of attention and poverty of imagination. I always come back to this. Anytime I want to multiply my results, I think to myself, how can I give it more attention? Because everything that I give mental attention to, it grows and it expands. That is how everything works. If I was to take a magnifying glass and put it on a piece of paper with the sun coming through into a white hot bead, that sunlight is being concentrated. The attention is being concentrated and it burns the page. If I move that magnifying glass all over the place, it'll make a brown mark. But it's not going to burn it. It's not going to be concentrated. So it's the same for us. Are you actually thinking about what you want, or is your mind very conditioned to what you don't have? And I mean, this is the bottom line to everything that we teach. It is so simple and it is so obvious. As Bob says, we would have to wonder why we all keep getting stuck. Like, it's really not rocket science. Trust me, I can do it. But what I see the problem is we can understand this to an extent, but we have to learn how to apply it. That is the key. Now, on page, let me just find it. Page 13 in the chapter Me and Money. I say page 13. I don't know what page it is in your book, but in this book, it's page 13. And it's about understanding versus memorization. Now, this is absolutely a critical place to start when it comes to awareness, because when you went to school, you did not really gain much awareness. You maybe became aware of how to do algebra and arithmetic, but you never really learned how to make decisions. You certainly didn't learn anything about money. You learned how to count it. You learned how to maybe invest it, but you never learned what money actually was. And that's one of the big reasons most of the population do not have the type of money that they want. We just went and fell into a job that was maybe the next best decision. Or maybe you're in a job and you love it, And maybe you're in a business and you love it and it's yours and it's wonderful, but you just can't quite seem to get to that next level. Well, again, it's only down to lack of attention and poverty of imagination. Are you spending most of your day time thinking about, oh, this is what I don't have? Or are you spending most of your time in your imagination seeing the riches in your bank account? You have got to develop a prosperity consciousness when it comes to understanding how we create better results in our life. And everything that you read, doesn't matter if it's Bob's book or somebody else's book, it all comes down to science and theology both agree we become what we think about. So it's our thoughts that are creating our reality. But it's awareness that helps us go up the track. Now, there are 7 different levels to conscious awareness. Some of you might have got onto our 7 levels of awareness course in August. It was a phenomenal 3-day program where I just sat with you for 3 full days and we went through absolutely everything. But there's 7 levels. But really, to sum it up, level 1 is when we're in an animalistic level. We are reacting to life. Now ask yourself, have you found yourself reacting over the last couple of weeks? Maybe in the last couple of hours. Reacting is when you give your power away. What you want to do is you want to respond. Now, responding is when we're in that 7th level of awareness and we know better. We don't allow that situation or circumstance to take control of us. And within a split second between a situation, we realize that we can choose to actually respond, maintain our power, and decide, this is how I'm going to look at this situation. Now, that is a very important lesson. If any of you have the Common Creative Collection, there is a great section on that in audio. But learning to respond rather than react, if you could just do that, how would that improve your finances? How would that improve your relationships? Whether that's with your kids, whether that's with your loved one, maybe you're biting the head off people, I don't know. How would it be better for work colleagues, clients? React and respond is a very powerful concept. And you want to learn to respond. And you can only do that by raising your level of conscious awareness, becoming more aware. It's not about gathering information. And on this little paragraph here on understanding and memorization, it really makes you understand it better. It says, as you read through the pages in this book, you will develop an ever-increasing awareness of the talents and abilities that lie deep within you. You should realize that with the proper instruction, you can begin using these undeveloped talents to attract the good that you desire. But let me caution you once again, no amount of reading or memorizing will bring you the success that you seek. It is only the understanding and the application of the ideas in this book that will make the difference for you. Now, that is a very important part to point out to you guys. Maybe you've read this book. Maybe you've read Think and Grow Rich. Maybe you've been studying this for longer than I've been alive. I don't know. Like Bob is going into his 60th year. He rang me the other night just to tell me all about it. 60 years of studying and understanding this material. I'm only on my 4th. But what a difference my life has been made. My family relationships are better. My personal relationships are better. My health is better. My finances certainly better. And I'm living my purpose. I want all of you to get up every day excited to go to work. Excited to make a difference. Excited on how you earn your money. Because money is earned. You do not get money. You earn money. And the amount that you earn will always be in direct reflection to the service that you give and your ability to give it. Now, you're not going to give good service if you're not a happy person. You're not going to give good service if you have got habits that hold you back. And this is why you've got to understand building awareness is the key to achieving more. It's not about just reading all of these books because you've done that. You've listened to all of the clips. You've maybe been on every single thing that I've ever done or watched all my videos. But if you're still sitting there and your results haven't changed, then I know it's because you haven't actually raised your level of conscious awareness. And that can only happen through two ways. Professional coaching, whether that's with me or not with me, doesn't matter. Professional coaching, being able to be taken by the hand and shown how to apply this material, not just know it. I mean, you can recite this book and your results mightn't change. It's about being able to take this information and apply it in your subconscious programming. And that only happens when you get taught how to do it. Just like I could go and read a book on how to fly a plane. Please don't put me in the plane after I've read a book, because that is never going to be enough. And yet there's the first reason that most people stay stuck. There's so many of you watching right now are staying stuck because you're convinced you can do this yourself. You're convinced that if you just listen to enough videos, every time you need a little, inspiration, motivation, oh, I'll go listen to one of them videos or pick up a book. It's not enough. It is so not enough, and I don't want you to ever think that, because you're wasting time. You trade your life for what you do, okay? So awareness is the key. Now, I want us to move to page 15, where it says, this in the same chapter, Me and Money. And again, you mightn't want to follow along because I'll jump all over the place. But it says, in fact, all the knowledge that there ever was or ever will be is 100% evenly present at all times and in all places. Now, why am I saying this? Everything is energy. Everything in this world is energy, okay? From this chair I'm sitting in, to this stone that says faith, to the book, to the screen, to everything is energy, okay? That you go look up the science books, that will agree. And energy cannot be created or destroyed. It moves from one form to another. So why I'm saying this at the very start of this week is because if everything is energy, and you want more in your life, whether that's a higher income, whether it's a better relationship, whatever it may be, maybe you want to start a business, maybe you're ready to finally go out and do that thing that you've been thinking about doing. But I get it. Sometimes you're afraid. Sometimes you're scared. We're going to do a whole day on that. But what you've got to realize, and what gives me so much creative freedom, is that everything is already here in one form or another, because everything is energy. So to get to your goal actually is already here. Like, one of my goals was to have my dream car. The car was always here, but for me to own the car, different things had to happen. I had to earn more money. I had to have a nicer home to put it in, because you certainly wouldn't have parked it at my old house. So to bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be, things have got to change. You've got to become more mentally aware. And that starts by realizing that everything is already here. A lot of people can look at this material and think, oh, Kim, I mean, that would be lovely to make my annual income a monthly income. But I mean, that's just not possible for me. Like, now it might be in America and those places, but not here. Well, I'm too old, or I have kids. And we literally argue for our limitations straight off the bat. This is why only 3% ever really win, because most of us won't get out of our own way to have a chance. Now ask yourself, are you in your own way? Are you arguing for your limitations? Do you sometimes hear yourself, little voices inside, talking yourself out of why you can't have what you've just given 1 second of thought to? We do it all the time. Now, what I want you to realize is you're not broken. That's not your fault, but it is a problem. And that is key to know. You've been programmed to think that way. You have been conditioned to grow up in that frame of mind, that mindset. In fact, you could even say, but Kim, you look back at the history books, you look back at my past, I can prove this. I totally get you. But that doesn't mean it has to always be that way. History will only ever repeat itself if you keep holding on to history. If you keep having the mental tape of what you think you are, of, it's never about you. Like, you're perfect. There is so much perfection within you. That's what's said in this book, that it's all about finding the abilities that lie deep within you. Now, you mightn't believe me, but just borrow the belief. What if it could be true? So many of my clients have borrowed my belief, and then they've given me it back a couple of months later and go, Kim, thanks for that. Because now I get it from me. Okay. It also says at the bottom of page 15, there will never be any lack of anything except conscious awareness. So what you've got to realize in this state of awareness and this world is that there's never any lack of anything unless you think there is. Thinking is the key here. Your mind is either magnified towards the abundance or it is magnified to the lack. And you will either see lack or abundance. And you know what the truth is? You might go through days of seeing lack, abundance, lack, abundance, lack, abundance, 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 lack. And it can change just like that. It can change when somebody says, how are you going to do that? Sure, what are you listening to that stuff for? Have you not seen what's going on in the world today? I mean, you're going to hear that. That's what Bob says in the book. Be aware, as soon as you start moving into this material, resistance will show up because you'll suddenly not be the same as everybody anymore. Because 97% of the population are stuck. And when we're stuck, do you know what we do? We get together in groups and talk about how stuck we are. And then we start arguing for other people's limitations. And that's not good enough in my book. That's not how we're going to create change for our children, for our families, for the next generations. What we've got to do is waken up and realize we can create our reality. But you can't do that if you don't know how to use your creative power, your system. Okay? Now, let me just go to, it says our highest function as a human being is thinking. Yet unfortunately, very few people think. They merely trick themselves into believing that because there is some mental activity taking place in their mind, they are thinking. But the truth is, most people are simply exercising the mental faculty called memory. They are playing old movies, and old pictures just keep flashing back on the screen of their mind. It is imperative that you begin this new way of thinking at this very moment, because as you do, every fiber of your being will become filled with this new thought energy. Now, what you've got to realize is consciousness or energy, because I keep talking about this energy, like what keeps your heart beating? What keeps your lungs expanding and retracting? Where's that energy coming from? Ever wonder that? Well, there's a power. You might call it your soul, you might call it your spirit, but there is a power that lives within you. If you are a living human being, you have a spirit. You might call it a soul, you might call it energy, it doesn't really matter what you call it, but you have it. And that spirit is the perfection in you. That spirit always wants to be more and be a bigger expansion and expression of itself. You always want more. You always want to be better. But yet we've created a world and a society that for some reason makes us feel guilty for when we want more and when we want better. And yet it's the essence of who we are. So we've actually set up an environment that is against us because it's our natural DNA to want to be better, whatever better is. When you go to the gym, you want to go to the gym so that you look and perform better. You don't ever go to the gym and then want to do less than what you did the week before. So it's an inherent, like you just can't escape it, guys. There's going to be an essence in you that wants more out of life. And that is okay. That's okay. Like when's the last time somebody actually even said that's okay? Because anytime I ever thought about more, all I ever heard from people, family, friends, partners, what do you want more for? Sure, be happy with what you've got. Sure, there's some people have nothing. And you're right, some people do have nothing. But if I have nothing and I continue to just play subpar, I'm never going to be able to help those people that have nothing. So you see, by getting rich, you enrich others. If you do it the right way. Like I've been able to help so many people that I could never have helped if I was not doing what I'm doing now. And you're the same. If you've got family or friends that you want to help and that they need your help, and they do need your help, I know that without even having to know you personally. Don't try to change them, but be the change. Your mind is like a magnet. On page 123, it says, become a mental magnet. This is in the chapter of the law of vibration and attraction. Attract what you need for the physical manifestation of your image. It is true that energy or spirit is neither created or destroyed, and everything in its original state is either energy or spirit. It necessarily follows that everything you will ever want is already here. It is simply a matter of choosing the thoughts which will put you into harmonious vibration with the good that you desire. Now, what on earth does this mean? Because this one simple page explains it all. But if you don't understand it and you don't know how to apply it, then you're stuck. So your mind, think of it like a mental magnet. Okay, that's what your mind is. Especially in this chapter, it's a phenomenal chapter on the law of vibration and attraction. And maybe you've heard about the law of attraction. Well, you cannot use the law of attraction if you don't understand the law of vibration. Now, I said a minute ago, you're a spiritual being. You have a spirit inside, and you do. It's nothing to do with religion. It's just got to do with how it is, okay? And your spirit wants to be more, have more, be more, do more, give more. That's just the DNA of it, okay? But we have a mind and we have free will to choose. We've been given an intellect. We've been given a gift. You might say it's from God. You might say it's just from wherever. I'm not here to tell you what, who you need to believe in. I personally believe in God. But all of this is based on science, whether you're religious or whether you're not. So you've got to ask yourself, this spirit that's within you that wants more, that's why you're on this, is why you're listening to me, because you know there's a part of you resonates. Even if you're only here to check it out and be nosy, there's a part of you wanted to be nosy. There's a part of you resonated with it. So we've got to honor that, and we've got to honor the gift that we've been given, which is our mental tools, our mindset. And we have got to forget about all this other stuff that we've been conditioned to think. Like you think about fear. Maybe you're worrying about money right now. Where did that ever come from? You were born with that. You picked it up along the way. Where's this fear that you're going to feel? You weren't born with that either. You picked it up along the way. So we've got beliefs and we've got habits that we have picked up along the way through our environmental conditioning, also through our genetic conditioning. There's a little bit of mom, a little bit of dad creates you. And that creates what we call a paradigm. Now, the way I want you to understand spirit and paradigms is, think of a camera. I'm looking into a camera right now. Now, depending on the lens that I have on the camera will depend on what I see. Okay, if I was to put a red lens, everything's going to look red. If I put a blue lens on, everything's going to look blue. Wide lens, whatever. Now, what I'm looking at is always going to be the same, but what I see could be very different. And this is the same as you. We're all living in the same world. We're all going through the same pandemic. But yet, why is it that we're all experiencing it totally differently? You could talk to one person who's lost everything and is down and out and doesn't know what way to turn. And you could talk to another person who's just started a business and they're thriving. Now, the difficulty is these two people don't ever really talk. And this person who has nothing looks at the other person with everything and goes, that's not fair. And that's actually what's keeping them from all the abundance. So why do we see things differently? We see things differently because we all have a different lens. We all have a different mechanism in which we're viewing the world, and that's your paradigm. And this story about becoming a mental magnet is all about, well, whatever lens you have on, whatever way that you've conditioned your mind to think, that's what you're going to attract. So right now, things are changing. Change is inevitable. Personal growth is a choice. You've got to now decide, what is it that you want to see? What is it that you want to create? I really want you guys to think about this tonight, to the rest of today. Where do you want to see things land before the new year? Are you just trying to get through this, or are you going to thrive through it? You can make an absolute committed decision right now. I'm going to turn things around. And the more that you do that, you're going to change the vibration. Now, what Bob means when he talks about vibration is energy moving. Energy never rests. It never slows down. It just literally moves from one place to another. Now, there's different speeds in which the energy can flow. If you meet somebody and you all have a friend, and every time you see them, they're bubbly, they're outgoing, and make you laugh, and they walk through a room and your energy's uplifted. You all know a friend like that. But you also all know a friend, and you know where I'm going with this. They ring you, and you're like, okay, should I pick up the phone? Should I not pick up the phone? What's going to happen now? And there'll be something wrong. And they're people that I call mood hoovers. Now, I say that as a bit of a joke. Don't take offense. But it's the person, it could be a work colleague, it could be family, it could be a stranger. But you know fine rightly when you're around them, you feel like your energy's been sucked out of you. Maybe you're the mood hoover. I used to be a mood hoover. Well, that energy that person is giving off is their attitude. Attitude is the thoughts, feelings, and actions that somebody gives off. So what you've got to realize is you're a spiritual being living in a physical body, but your physical body, like my physical body, is just a mass of molecules in a high speed of vibration. So the happy friend that comes in usually bounces in and is all smiles and is all woo, gives you a hug, and it's brilliant. They're a lot more active. There's a lot more energy coming off them. You can just feel it. Even if you're in a crappy mood, you're like, oh, geez, here comes. Like in the morning, I'm not a talker in the morning, but my team are. So when I come into the office, they're just like, chit, 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 chit. And I'm like, oh, give me a wee second to waken up. It's a wee simple things like that, right? But then the person that brings you down, they're sucking the energy from you. So the only difference in these two people is their attitude. So attitude is your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviors. You cannot have one without the other. They are a composite of all three. And I said at the start of the call, your attitude to life will be life's attitude towards you. Why? Well, let me tell you why. The energy that you're giving off right now must come back to you. It is the law of cause and effect. Everything that we give off will always come back. Always, 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 always. There is no debating this. There is no questioning this. Every scientist has proved it. All the spiritual leaders have proved it. And it really comes down to how long are we going to continue to pretend that there's something else out there that is causing our results. There's not. We create our results. Sometimes it's hard to stomach if your results aren't great. But I think it takes a bigger person and a braver person to put their hand up and go, yeah, I've really sucked right up until now. but I'm wanting to change. And we have choice over that. It is all choice. I can't make you, but you have got to make that committed decision to choose. Even if you don't understand anything I'm saying, but it's piquing an interest, that's your spirit going, yes, listen. That stuff's making sense to me, because the truth always resonates. Truth always resonates. Always. You know when you're telling the truth, and you know when you're fibbing yourself. And the only person that really is losing is you. And I don't think that's fair. So the energy in which you give off is what is going to come back to you. So that's why this chapter says, become a mental magnet. It says, if it is true that energy or spirit is neither created or destroyed, and everything is in its original state, it is necessarily follows that everything you will ever want is already here. So the goal that you want, maybe it's the better income, the better relationships, whatever it is, it is absolutely possible. It's already here. You just can't see it in your physical life. But this is the beautiful part about manifestation. This is the beautiful part about the creation process. Nothing is created or destroyed, but we can bring things into physical reality by starting off the creation process, which is thinking. Like, you might be giving off stink that you don't have enough money. When is the last time you actually, hand on heart, thought about the amount of money you'd like to earn? Like, really, be honest with yourself. Do you even know what the amount is? If I was to put you in the spot right now and go, how much money do you want to earn? Would you just be able to go, bleh? Or would you kind of go, well, you know, I just would like a wee bit more, but I don't want that much. And, you know, it's not about the money. It's about, because this is what we do. We go down all these little, it's just, we do it automatic. Why do we do it? Because we don't like talking about money. We don't understand it. We don't even know what we want, and we haven't a foggy notion how we would get it. And even if somebody laid out a path, well, we wouldn't even believe that we're good enough to have it. So all of those things that I'm just talking about is your paradigm. It's your conditioned way of thinking. You didn't even choose it. It just happens automatically in a split second. And that's why it takes a period of time to change it. So the rest of this chapter says everything that you are seeking is seeking you in return. So the thing that you want is also looking for you. It says, therefore, everything you want is already yours. So if you don't have to get anything, it is simply a matter of becoming more aware of what already you possess. See, I always knew how to earn the money that I'm earning now, but I wasn't aware of it. When I had £4.20 in my pocket and Bob said, oh, you can turn your annual into a monthly, I was like, that's such a gag. There's not a chance. But I mean, I like the idea. I laughed it off. I shoved it off. That was me being ignorant. That was me being the way most people think. Too good to be true. That won't happen for me. But I didn't, thankfully. I didn't believe in myself. I was terrified it wouldn't work. I mean, I didn't even tell most people that what I was studying. I mean, I couldn't even have explained it. But yet, the key to my success, the key to your success, is not about things, is not about getting. And I want to make that very clear as we bring this to a close. This week is not about getting. It's about realizing. It's about remembering. You see, you came into this world with one agenda, and that is to figure out who you are. And we're all on that journey. We're all searching for that thing. And a lot of us try to search for things outside of ourselves. And then when we get it, we go, oh, that wasn't it. What's next? And that's why goals get such a bad rap, because we run on chase after goals, but actually there's nothing in the goal. The goal is to grow. The goal is to create. The goal is to realize that I am freaking awesome. And it's not about being egotistical. It's not about having a big head. It's about being able to go, I know who I am. I'm God's highest form of creation. I have more talent and ability than I've ever realized. And I don't have any more than what you guys have. We have reservoirs. We will have more talent and ability than you'll ever use in this lifetime. And as Bob says, it's our gift to God to become aware of that, to use it for good. So I want you to think about this tonight. It says the moment you bring your life into harmony with the law, into harmony with the current of divine order, you will find that the negative will have taken wings, for its cause will have been removed, and you will no longer attract what you don't want. A lot of people focus far too much on how do I get rid of these negative thoughts? How do I stop this problem? How do I stop that problem? And every time I explain it, I go, stop talking about those things. What is it that you want? Let's look over here. Now, people crack up when I do that because they go, yeah, but Kim, I want to stop this, and this is my problem, and this is why I'm stuck, and this is, and I go, yeah, I got you, I heard you, but we're not looking over here, we're looking over here. And there's such a lesson in that. If you stop giving energy to what you don't want, and you start to turn your energy to what you do want, this over here will die of lack of nourishment. Because if you're not giving energy to it, it can't grow, it can't move into form, it will die, it will decease, it will, how many times have you had a problem and you forgot about it, or you've said, I'll think about that later, and when you go back later, it's sorted out. Happens all the time. So if we take mental energy off what we don't want, or off what we have, because a lot of our problem is we look at what our results are and we go, this is rubbish, I'm not happy, and the more we do that, even you saying I'm not happy with it, you're giving energy to it. So the key is, what do you want? Start focusing your energy there. And the last paragraph says, the secret to receiving on the physical plane the results you desire is always locked into the law of attraction. This entire book has been designed to help you understand how to get into harmonious vibration with the good that you desire, and then how to stay in that positive vibration. See, that's the key. You don't want to be like living life like, this sucks, but I really love this, but this is what I have, but this is what I'd love, but this is really what's going on, but this is what I want, but Kim, this is reality. Do you know what happens? Your emotions are all over the place, your head's all over the place, and you go, to pot with that, I'm just going to do what I've always done. And then you always get what you've always gotten. This stuff, learning this stuff, applying this stuff is not easy. Bob talks about this early in the book. It's why 3% make it. I want us all to make it. I'm making it my life mission to help people waking up one thought at a time. And that's why we're here every single day this week, to help you in a time when you've never needed it more. And I don't say that in a disrespectful place. I respect each and every one of you for giving up an hour every single day. I absolutely do. But I want you guys to respect yourself enough to actually now take what I'm teaching. And as you can see, I don't really read much of the book. I just kind of talk. Some of you intellects out there, left brainers, are probably like, God damn it, what page is she on? Okay? But don't worry about that. Listen to what I'm saying, because I'm talking from my spirit, from my heart. And we are born for growth. We are born to be the best versions of ourselves. But we do have to recondition. We do have to take off the lens in which we've been viewing the world, which has got us X type results. And we've got to go and put a different lens on. Do not spend your time trying to change outside circumstances and conditions by taking outside actions. It will never work. It's going to cost you a lot of money. It's going to cost you a lot of time. It's going to cost you a lot of energy. And those are things that are way more important than money. All right. So tonight, your homework for this session, and I know I'm 6 minutes over, apologies for that. Tonight's homework, I want you to sit and read the chapter, The Law of Vibration and Attraction. I think that's the chapter. Let me double check. Yeah, chapter 6, the law of vibration and the law of attraction. I want you to read that tonight. It's not very long, but read it because it will help you really understand and be able to put into play the next couple of days. I will be going over this again tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to talk about money. Isn't that what I said? You just remember? No, tomorrow we're talking about the image maker. Wednesday's all about money. Now, the reason I'm doing it in these ways is because you probably all want the money right away, but you're not ready to receive the money. Okay, there is an absolute prescription to this stuff, guys. So I hope you've enjoyed this first session. Read that chapter 6 tonight. Tomorrow we'll be talking about the image maker, who you need to be, and essentially why you think you're not good enough. We're going to get rid of all of that belief. And we'll be back here at 12 noon. All right. Thank you so much for joining. If you have any questions, go on to the Dynamite Effect page. Type your questions underneath because I love questions and I never am not like trying to shy away from it. I would sit all day and answer questions. My clients know that. All right. Thank you so much for being here and I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.